Alright guys, welcome back into the Ashish and Ryan Sports and Political Podcast. This is the podcast. Obviously, we're coming to you live from Hilliard, Ohio. The draft, the NBA draft was yesterday. And it was a good draft. I think most teams selected very smartly. I believe Phoenix was the big winner of the draft. Phoenix was the big winner of the draft because they got a big guy and they got a shooter in Mikal Bridges that is relatively athletic. They can put the ball on the floor. You have Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges on two wings. You have DeAndre Ayton manning the center of the floor. He's a guy that can run. He's 270 pounds. He has post moves 20 feet and in, not just 5 feet and in. He's got post moves 20 feet and in. So Phoenix is going to be really, really good for a really, really long time. The Dallas played smart. I think what Dallas did, let's understand, right, what their team is. They've got Harrison Barnes, who is a star number one player. The reason why he sucked in Golden State was because he came off the bench and was a stagnant third option at best. I mean, he's 6'8", 210 out of high school. But again, the last 2 years in Dallas, 19 points a game. Given more minutes, he'll play better. So you have Harrison Barnes that can score. You have Dennis Smith that's athletic. So because of this, Luka Doncic won't have to play make, or his playmaking will become easier because his court vision, he won't have to use his athleticism because Dennis Smith will already get in the paint. With his athletic cuts, will sort of drive defenders toward him, giving Doncic more space to operate off the dribble. And because of Doncic's court vision, he can manipulate defenders without actually dribbling the ball. Now, his three-point shot worries me. 34% the first year, 30.9% this year. That worries me because his value dramatically reduces if he can't shoot an NBA three on a consistent level. But if he can, if the hype is real in terms of his shot, oh, you got team. Because you have one really good scorer in Harrison Barnes. You have Dennis Smith, athletic, hyper athletic, that can score. You have Doncic, that can score just waiting for the ball to come to him from the perimeter. And obviously, he can play make to some extent. So you've got three guys that can attack the paint. You've got at least two shooters. Relative shooters in Barnes and Doncic, you have two legit scorers now because I think Smith will develop, and Barnes is already established. So Dallas is going to be really, really good. Even if Doncic isn't that perennial all-star guy that you're expecting, he'll be a very valuable scorer from long range and a very valuable spacer of the floor. See, what's really good with the Dallas thing, the criticisms of his athleticism are taken away here because he can be the third most athletic guy, Dennis Smith and Harrison Barnes being the more athletic guys on his team. He can be the third most athletic guy. He doesn't have to create for himself. While he can do that, while he can create for others, while he can do that kind of leading a bench unit, he can just be a flat-out scorer. Scorer as I shouldn't say third option, but as more of a pure shooting option. But what worries me are the three-point stats from EuroLeague. 34, 31% the last 2 years. That worries me. He's got to be better from there. But again, as I say, that pick, if Doncic can become not even half the player that he could be, just develops a good shot, Dallas will be really good. I also think Milwaukee is really, really good with their pick. Malcolm Brogdon is small. He's not very athletic. He's a great defender. But you've got a guy that you draft. Tony Snell can't shoot. Tony Snell, as a starter, can't shoot the basketball. Dante DiVincenzo, 6'5", athletic, can defend, is big. He's filled out. And he's got an NBA shot. Can create a shot off the dribble, too. So you've got Middleton, DiVincenzo, Bledsoe, and Giannis. Off the bench, Thon Maker, Jabari Parker, Malcolm Brogdon, Tony Snell, man, are they really, really loaded. Milwaukee is going to be really good. Indiana, drafting Aaron Holiday, 43% from three, athletic, takes the distributing duties out of the hands of Victor Oladipo so he can be a flat-out scorer. Get two guys that can score, that can shoot, that can pass. Indiana, they need one more guy, but they'll be much better than they were last year. Philadelphia, obviously, they're fine. They got Zaire Smith. If he's athletic enough to score, he'll be fine. Boston's great. We know this. Toronto, same group of guys. They'll be relevant. Washington, they'll be relevant if they have the two stars. there are some teams in the Eastern Conference. There are some teams that can compete. 5 or 6 teams that can compete in the East. Even Detroit, Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond. I tell you what, these teams are going to be really, really good. There are 6 teams that I believe can really compete, give the number 1 seed Boston a run for their money. And on the off chance, get to the finals. On the off chance. They're obviously contenders in Boston, Philadelphia, but there are players. There are really, really good players and teams in the Eastern Conference. In the West, again, Dallas could be really, really good. Phoenix, really, really good. San Antonio, Lonnie Walker, athletic. LaMarcus Aldridge. Let's say you keep Kawhi, you're still great. You shop Kawhi for shooters. You take away the deficiencies of Lonnie Walker while accelerating his strengths, and the deficiency of LaMarcus Aldridge as a player that lacks athleticism and that can't shoot a 3-pointer. You've got options here. So San Antonio, Dallas, Phoenix. In the West and the East, Milwaukee is much better, I believe. Charlotte's going to be good. You're talking about Miles Bridges and you're talking about Miles Bridges, Frank Kaminsky, and Kemba Walker. They're going to be fine, along with Nicholas Batum, who I don't know if he can come back to a great level of play, but still. They've got a team. If they can maximize, they have got a team. Frank Kaminsky, 11 points per game this year. 38% from 3, 80% from the free throw line. And they're players, man. And with Charlotte having another pick, Miles Bridges, shoot, can create, athletic, big. They have got a team. So I wanted to say this, the Clippers, they added Gilgeous-Alexander and Jerome Robinson. I don't know how good they're going to be. I liked Gilgeous-Alexander because of his size and his ability to run an offense. He's a good shooter. So I like him with DeAndre Jordan, the big guy. So I don't think many teams did bad things by their draft. I think the Knicks drafted well. One of the worst picks of the night was their second round draft of Mitchell Robinson, but Kevin Knox and Kristaps and an improved Tim Hardaway. Obviously, that'll be later in the season. You've got 3 guys that can just flat out score. So again, I really, really like where the competitiveness of the NBA is going. You've got Gilgeous-Alexander. Tobias Harris has been really good. for the Clippers. Lou Williams, I don't know where Jerome Robinson is at this point in terms of his development. But there are good teams around the league that can make noise. Because they may not be great players, but they're good players that can work well within a system. I don't think many teams failed the draft. Mitchell Robinson, center, didn't play college ball. He's a project. Obviously, if he works out, great for them. But here's the deal. The worst move of the night, and I don't blame, I think the Nuggets got to steal in Porter Jr. because if he's able to shoot, they'll be really good with Jamal Murray and with Gary Harris and Jokic and Millsap. Should have made the playoffs this year. Add in a scorer in Michael Porter Jr. who may not have to be the most athletic guy on the team, may not have to risk his back because he can just stand out and be a kind of Dirkish shooter from the mid-range and shoot from the three-pointer. Now, obviously, like I said, I've got to see him do it. I've got to see him be consistent on the NBA level. Here is the major issue. The issue that I had with Porter Jr., the issue that I had with Doncic, the issue that I had with Trae Young, I think Trae Young can shoot. They got a guy named Kevin Huerter who can shoot as well. He can create offense by the three. Huerter and Young may be a good pair. I don't know how good Young can be. But Young has guys to pass it to. Young has guys to pass it to. I don't know. The reason I was skeptical was if they just have to score on their own and he has no one to pass it to, that's going to be an issue. I don't think it's going to be an issue because a guy like Kevin Huerter is someone that can score the ball. So now to my worst picks of the draft. The worst picks that I feel of the draft. And look, Trae Young will play alongside Dennis Schroeder, so I think that'll alleviate some of the burdens. And Schroeder is young, I believe, so that can form like a good 5 to 6 year nucleus for them. They'll maybe sneak in playoff wise. But they can they can form a good pairing. Obviously, like the Hawks are willing to trade Schroeder because he plays a natural point guard. But if one of those two guys, because they're both decent shooters of the ball, if one of those two guys can move to an off-ball, create off the dribble, but you don't run the offense kind of guy, again, that could be a pretty good team. So, out of the teams that I thought really did a bad job, now I think Young was a risk to Atlanta, but I don't think it was a bad move. If Schroeder stays, if Dennis Schroeder stays, if Huerter can shoot, can use his range, and apply it at the NBA level, he's got guys to pass it to. Taurean Prince, good player. Mike Muscala, all right. And now they're going to need other draft picks. They're going to need to find other guys. They're probably not going to be great for the next couple years, but they have players to build off of. Now, I wouldn't trade Schroeder. I would just make him an off-ball kind of second point guard, a worse version of what Harden and CP3 have in Houston. But all these teams drafted smartly. The one team that I feel just made a stupid mistake was the Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings may be the stupidest run team in the history of the organization. I think the Cavs made a pretty big mistake, but they were dead in the water already. The Kings really suck. Buddy Hield, 13.5 points, 14 points. He was expected to be the next Steph Curry. You traded away a 30-point guy in Boogie Cousins for that. 14 points, 2 assists. That's the next Steph Curry? Ridiculous. Who else? Willie Cauley-Stein can't shoot the basketball. That's great. Harry Giles, I don't know what he did. And what else? Who else? You draft Marvin Bagley, guy that can't really shoot the ball. Probably give you 15 points a game in the NBA. De'Aaron Fox, again, can't really shoot the ball. 15 points a game, hyper athletic, but he doesn't have great shooters around him. You've got like 5 starters that can score 10 to 15 points, and then you have a bench that obviously, if they're one of the worst teams in the league, think about what their bench would be. Now, I believe Fox will develop an okay shot. But he's small. And he's not big. And he's not a great shooter. He'll never be. Because he's never had to rely on that. Sacramento, by drafting Marvin Bagley, didn't did nothing to improve their team. Sacramento just tried to do the whole pick and roll, guys that can score and kind of maybe shoot. 1990s offense. The only reason that worked is because in the 1990s, the only good teams had stars that could give you 30 points a night. Sacramento has none of those guys. None of those guys will ever be 30-point-a-game guys. They had one in Boogie Cousins. They gave him away. So this is one of the worst run organizations. Bagley may be a good player, but it's not going to translate to winning. It's not going to translate to making your team better. It's just adding more of what already is. And it's not very good. It's old type of offense. It doesn't translate to what you really want in a 21st century, type of basketball talent or a basketball skilled player. So, Sacramento just threw this away. They threw this away. Okay. Secondly, I think the Cavaliers were really, really stupid in drafting Colin Sexton. Really stupid. Because here's why. They want to replace LeBron, but getting a hyper-athletic point guard that can't really shoot isn't going to help you, because the issue with the team is you have a lot of guys that can't shoot. Now, you wanted someone that could create off the dribble and pass and shoot and is a point guard. Draft Gilgeous-Alexander. He's 6'6". He can dribble. He can pass. He can shoot. He can play within the system. What was Colin Sexton for? Hyper-athletic, can't shoot. I don't believe he really does pass either. And you don't have a guy that can really run an offense. I thought you wanted cornerstone guys. Colin Sexton isn't a cornerstone player. He isn't. Let's be honest. He's super athletic, but at best, I've said, at absolute best, he can be Russell Westbrook, who doesn't translate to winning at all. It doesn't attract stars. Worst, he can be a lottery pick guy. Lottery pick guy that fails. Okay? All he's known for is that he's a lottery pick. That's why I said he can be a lottery pick guy. Oh, he's a lottery pick. What do you do in the NBA? Nothing. They had no chance to keep LeBron. If they wanted a great point guard, they could have gone for Gilgeous-Alexander. I think he'll be a really good player. But they chose the hyper-athletic one, and if it works, good for them. But he had 3.6 assists. Shot 33% from 3. That's a 19-foot jump shot in the NBA. Yeah, he's super athletic, but he's small. 6'3", 190. His field goal percentage is 44.7. He doesn't really pass the ball that much. And can't he guard? I believe he can guard, but his offensive game, if he doesn't have great handles, if he's very athletic, but you can just key in on him, and he can't shoot, and he can't play make, and he's not a great passer, what is his value? How are you getting better post LeBron? This stupid pick. Knicks, I thought they made a stupid pick. There were a lot of good players in the second round. Kid Bates, Diop, Gary Trent, didn't draft those guys. Drafted Mitchell Robinson, center, didn't even play college ball at Western Kentucky. I thought it was a stupid pick. Now, I think one of the worst picks was Boston drafting Robert Williams. I thought someone like Diop or Gary Trent, just guys that can flat out shoot the ball. Would be really valuable off the bench, as we saw Terry Rozier went really cold. So again, as you can see, the worst run franchises make the stupidest mistakes. Now, I think New York is projected with their second round pick. They made a really good first round pick. Boston, they're fine. They've already done what they've needed to do. Their first round pick didn't have any value. But the Cleveland Cavaliers and Sacramento Kings, the worst run organizations, wasted high draft picks on the type of player and the type of system that works in the 1990s that doesn't translate to the 2000s and the 2010s and the 2020s, and they're behind. And they always will be. Unless someone like LeBron, who can transcend dysfunction, goes to an organization and does just that, transcend dysfunction. He did that in Cleveland once. He's going to leave them again. He's not going to come back. Cleveland is dead in the water. This is the Ashish Narayan Sports and Political Podcast, coming to you live from Hilliard, Ohio. And we are very excited to be with you today. I'd like to say something about the Jameis Winston thing, but really. There has to be proper equality of suspension, I guess. I believe Winston should have been suspended 6 games just based on precedent. And then the fact that the Buccaneers cut him, that's something everyone said, oh, they should cut him. I don't think they should. One of the smartest players in the NFL almost got into Stanford, knows what the plays are, knows what to read, just makes some ill-advised mistakes. Now, if you can get that in his head, I believe you can. I think that's something you can teach a quarterback. To teach them that you can throw to a check down guy, I think that's the thing that worries me with Cam, because he's notorious for not actually focusing on the details of the game. Winston focuses on the details of the game. Luck focuses on the details of the game. They just think they can make every play because of how they think and their athletic ability. Winston, I think he's a really valuable quarterback. Big, can run, talented, physical, throws a really good football, smart, studies the game. He's inconsistent, but I have always liked Jameis Winston, and I think he can be really, really good. He was really good under pressure at Florida State. And I think he'll be really good under pressure with Tampa Bay. No, they shouldn't cut him. This year's quarterback draft isn't going to be really good. Who are you stuck with? Ryan Fitzpatrick? Jameis Winston is a stud in the making. Yes, he's made stupid mistakes. He may not even be guilty of charge. The suspensions have to be equal, but again, don't cut him, don't trade him, because he has physical and mental gifts, he's talented, he has value, and he's young. Why would you let go of a franchise quarterback like Jameis Winston? That'd be stupid if you were the Bucs to do that. I'm not talking about him as a person, as a talent. He's a very good talent. And he's shown signs. So, no, I wouldn't cut Jameis Winston. This is the Ashish and Ryan Sports and Political Podcast, coming to you live from Hilliard, Ohio. And we'll be back with you on Monday. Free agency starts June 29th. Where's LeBron gonna go? Kawhi gets traded. Paul George. Man, this is gonna be fun. See y'all on Monday. This is the Sports and Political Podcast.